Hey everyone, I'm Allison. I'm a nurse, and honestly, I love what I do. It's challenging, sure, but helping people brings me so much purpose. I met my husband, Jake, back in college. He's a software engineer. We were quite the pair, the caring nurse and the tech whiz. We just clicked. After graduation, life picked up speed. We both got great jobs, got married, and even bought this adorable little house in the suburbs. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was ours. We dreamed big, starting a family, traveling, maybe even opening a small business together one day. I remember walking into our home for the first time, surrounded by boxes, and saying, "Can you believe it, Jake? Our own place." He smiled that smile that always made my heart skip a beat and said, "It's perfect. Ally, just like you." Everything felt like a dream. But as they say, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Enter Patricia, my mother-in-law. Now, don't get me wrong, I wanted to love her. She's Jake's mom, after all. But from the start, she was, well, a bit much. "Oh, sweetie," she'd say, eyeing our furniture, "wouldn't this look better over there? Let me rearrange it for you." I brushed it off at first, but then she started poking into our finances. It began small, like, "Allison, dear, do you really need that many pairs of shoes? Think of the money you could save." I laughed it off as her just being motherly, but soon it got worse. She'd show up uninvited whenever we were making big purchases. "Jake, honey, are you sure about this car? I know a dealer who could get you a much better deal." I tried to ignore it for Jake's sake. He'd say, "Mom's just trying to help. Ally, she means well." Then she started insisting, "You two should invest in gold. It's much safer than stocks." I tried talking to Jake, but he kept defending her. "She's just looking out for us, babe. That's what family does." But it didn't feel like she was helping. It felt like she was trying to control us. Every family dinner turned into an interrogation about our finances. "So how much are you two saving each month? You should be putting away at least 30% of your income." The constant questions, the unsolicited advice, the veiled criticisms. It was overwhelming. One night, after a particularly invasive conversation about our mortgage, I broke down. "Jake, I can't take this anymore. Your mom is too involved in our finances. It's our life, our money. We need to set boundaries." He sighed, rubbing his forehead. "Allie, you're overreacting. Mom's just trying to help us secure our future." But I couldn't see it that way. I saw a storm building, threatening to tear apart the life we built. That night, as I lay awake listening to Jake's steady breathing, I wondered how long this perfect life could hold under Patricia's help. Then I saw the bank statement. A huge chunk of our savings was just gone. My hands were shaking as I confronted Jake. "What's this? Where did our money go?" He looked away, avoiding my gaze. "Oh, that Mom found this great investment opportunity. It's going to double our money in no time." I stared at him in shock. "You invested our savings without even talking to me?" He shrugged. "Come on. Ally, Mom knows what she's doing. She's been in business for years." My heart sank. "Jake, it's our money, our future. We're supposed to make these decisions together." He just looked at me, almost dismissively. "I didn't think you'd understand. It's a complex financial strategy." That stung. I may not be a financial wizard, I wasn't an idiot. "So, you and your mom went behind my back because you think I'm too stupid to understand?" I said, my voice laced with hurt and frustration. "That's not what I meant," Jake stammered, but I was on a roll. "No, Jake, this isn't okay. Your mom is way too involved in our lives." Jake's expression hardened. "She's just trying to help us, Ally. Why can't you see that?" From there, the argument escalated, and it wasn't just about money anymore. It seemed like every aspect of our lives was being pulled into this battle. Patricia's involvement felt suffocating, like she was wedging herself into our marriage. One evening, she came over for dinner, and as soon as she saw me in my scrubs, she wrinkled her nose. "Allison, dear, have you ever thought about a career change? Nursing is so demanding, and the pay, well, it's not ideal, is it?" I nearly choked. "I love my job, Patricia. It's not about the money," I said, struggling to keep my composure. She patted my hand in a way that felt patronizing. "Of course, dear. But don't you think Jake deserves someone more financially savvy? Someone who can contribute more to the household?" I looked to Jake, expecting him to defend me, but he just sat there in silence. Later that night, I confronted him. How could you let her talk to me like that? She didn't mean anything by it, ally. You're being oversensitive, he said, brushing me off. No matter what I said, Jake always took her side, and I started to feel like a stranger in my own marriage. Things came to a head when Patricia suggested we sell our house and move closer to her. I found the perfect place, she gushed one evening. It's a bit pricier, but I can help with the down payment. Absolutely not, I said firmly. We're not moving. Jake looked torn. Allie, maybe we should consider it. Mom's offer is generous. I stared at him, unable to believe what I was hearing. Jake, this is our home. We chose it together. We've made memories here. Now you want to give it up because your mom said so. It's not like that, he protested, but it felt exactly like that. Every decision, every corner of our lives. Patricia had her hands in all of it, and Jake let her. The strong, independent person I used to be was fading, replaced by someone who constantly second-guessed herself. One night, as I lay awake, I overheard Jake on the phone with his mother. I don't know, Mom, he was saying. Allie's been really difficult lately. Maybe you're right. Maybe she's not the right fit for our family. My heart shattered. Was this really happening? Was I losing my husband to his mother's manipulations? As I lay there, wiping away silent tears, I realized this wasn't just about money or meddling. This was about respect, trust, and the foundation of our marriage. And right now, that foundation was cracking under the weight of Patricia's influence. A few days later, while doing laundry, I found a crumpled piece of paper in Jake's pocket. My heart sank as I unfolded it. It was a loan agreement, with Jake's signature at the bottom. He co-signed a massive loan for Patricia's latest foolproof business venture without even telling me. When Jake got home, I was waiting. Care to explain this? I held up the paper, my voice shaking. Jake's face went pale. Allie, I can explain. Explain what? That you put our financial future at risk without even talking to me? Mom said it was a sure thing, he began, struggling for words. She needed my help, and what about us, Jake? What about our dreams, our plans? I thought I was helping our future too, he said weakly. By gambling with our savings? By going behind my back? Our voices grew louder as the argument spiraled. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. It was Patricia, of course, waltzing in like she owned the place. I heard raised voices. Is everything okay? No, it's not okay, I snapped. How dare you pressure Jake into this loan? Patricia's face hardened. Now, Allison, Patricia said, her tone dripping with condescension. This is a family matter. You wouldn't understand the intricacies of business. Family matter. I was livid. I'm his wife. We're supposed to be a team. Jake stood there, looking torn, conflict evident in his eyes. Patricia turned to him, shaking her head. Honey, I told you she wouldn't understand. This is why I said you should have married someone more suitable. That was the last straw. Just as I was about to unleash everything I'd held back, Jake surprised us both. Enough, he shouted, his voice firm. Mom, that's completely out of line. Patricia's mouth fell open, stunned. But Jake, I'm only looking out for you. No, you're not, he said, standing his ground. You're meddling in our lives, undermining my wife, and causing problems in our marriage. I could barely believe it. Jake was finally standing up to her. How dare you speak to me like that? Patricia gasped, her face twisted with anger. After everything I've done for you. What you've done is try to control every aspect of our lives, he retorted. You've disrespected Allison, questioned our decisions, and now you've put us in financial jeopardy. Her expression hardened. That girl has turned you against me. She's not good enough for you, Jake. She's just a nurse, for heaven's sake. Jake's voice was cold, unwavering. That girl is my wife, and being a nurse is a noble profession. Allison saves lives every day. I felt tears well up, but this time they were tears of relief. Jake continued, Mom, I love you, but this has to stop. You need to respect our boundaries. If you can't do that, then we'll have to reconsider our relationship with you. Patricia, lips stricken, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. You don't mean that. You choose her over your own mother. I'm choosing my wife, my marriage, and our future, he said firmly. It's time for you to leave, Mom. Patricia stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Jake turned to me, his eyes filled with regret. Allie, I'm so sorry. I've been blind to what was happening. Can you forgive me? I was still processing everything, but I saw the sincerity in his eyes. Jake, I don't know what to say. He took my hands in his. Say you'll give me a chance to make this right. From now on, it's you and me against the world. No more letting my mother interfere. Looking into his eyes, I saw the man I've fallen in love with, strong, caring, and finally, standing up for us. It wouldn't be easy, but for the first time in a long while, I felt hope for our future. Okay, I whispered, squeezing his hands. Let's fix this together. The weeks that followed were tough, but Jake and I were determined to rebuild our relationship. We started seeing Dr. Martinez, a therapist who helped us work through our issues. Communication is key, Dr. Martinez would remind us. You need to be a united front. Jake nodded, squeezing my hand. We're in this together now, ally. No more secrets. Together, we spent hours untangling our finances from Patricia's influence. Jake worked tirelessly to get out of the co-signed loan. It's not going to be easy, he admitted one night, but it's the right thing to do. I was proud of him for taking responsibility. We'll figure it out, Jake, I said, feeling hopeful. We always do. Patricia tried to reconcile, showing up at our door with teary eyes and apologies, but we stood firm. Mom, we need space, Jake told her. We'll let you know when we're ready. I could tell it wasn't easy for him, but he was choosing us, our marriage, and it meant the world to me. Months passed, and slowly we found our rhythm again. We started planning for our future, making real plans without Patricia's input. What do you think about starting a family? Jake asked one evening. I smiled, feeling hopeful for the first time in ages. I think it's time. As for Patricia, she eventually accepted her new limited role in our lives. Occasionally, she'd send a text or a card, but she respected our boundaries. One day, I received a surprising message from her. Allison, I'm truly sorry for everything. I see now how wrong I was. I hope one day you can forgive me. I showed it to Jake, unsure how to respond. He sighed. She's trying, ally. Maybe we can give her a chance on our terms. I nodded, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. We'd been through hell and back, but we come out stronger, our bond unbreakable. Looking at Jake, I knew we could face anything life threw at us. We were a team, partners in every sense of the word, and no one, not even Patricia, could come between us again. That's the end of my story. Now, I want to ask you, how would you have handled Patricia's interference in your marriage? Would you have set boundaries earlier or tried to appease her for the sake of family harmony? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more real-life dilemmas and relationship insights.